Hi there, this is Maria Giordano with Real Estate Profit System. Here's a question I get asked quite often because, well, let's be frank, people think I lose my mind when I tell them that I overpay for properties all the time. Now, so you're gonna say, what? Absolutely. Why would I overpay for a property? It's real simple. Because I'm doing seller financing. I'm doing seller financing with that seller. That seller is becoming my bank. What does this mean? What if I told you that this is an excellent way if you're broke, if you don't have a lot of money, or if you're just trying to get into real estate investing, or you wholesaled your first property and you only have a little bit of money? Seller financing is the answer. You see, when you find a motivated seller, say it's somebody, heck, right now, if somebody has their property on the market for more than 60 or 90 days, I'm looking at a couple of fourplexes right now that are selling. Why? Because the seller got greedy. And because the seller's a little greedy, the properties aren't selling. They want more. You see, price is important to them. And I've asked them, I said, well, it seems like price is important to you. I'm like, yeah, well, would you have anything against me giving you what you want? Giving you, I'm looking at one right now that's at $195,000. And so I was like, how would that work? Well, I can give you more for your property, but I need more time. And it seems like you like getting those checks every month from the tenants. And they go, yes. Well, what do you think of those tenants? So now I'm starting to turn up that pain a little bit. Oh, they can't stand tenants. They can't deal with repairs. They want to travel, whatever it is. Well, what if I can pay you more and you can keep collecting a check every month and never have to deal with tenants, termites, toilets, nada, nothing. Something like that. And, something like that wouldn't work for you, would it? And so I was like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I can give you $195,000, but in order for me to do that, I'm going to pay over time. And it looks like on this property, and we'll just use round numbers, you're collecting $2,000 a month. Well, would you have anything against getting, and I do some math, whatever, $673 every month until paid? So I start having a conversation. You see, this property in particular is a good $25,000 over market price. But here's the thing. Interest rates right now are getting higher. It's at about 5.5% on this property for a commercial. At that kind of interest rate, on say $195,000 loan, I'm going to be paying 1.5 to 2 times the price of that house. So say it comes out to like over $100,000 extra I'm paying over the life of that loan, over that 30-year loan term with the bank. So instead of paying $195,000, say I'm ending up actually paying about $295,000 after interest is all cut. Now, don't get all lost in the weeds with calculating all the numbers. I don't have a calculator in front of me. That's why I'm doing this kind of off the top of my head. But if I had to pay interest on that property, I would be paying over $295,000 back to the bank. You see, with creative deal structuring and with structuring deals with the seller can become your bank. And notice, interest never came up. And because interest never came up, I can afford to pay them more of money. Now, the property, and this is key, the property has to cash flow. So I know my expenses, which usually run about 40% of what the property will rent for. So if it runs for, say, $100,000 a month, excuse me, that's about $400 in expenses. So if it's going to rent for $2,000 a month, that's about $800 in expenses. So if I'm going to have $800 in expenses and give her another $600, that's roughly $1,400. That's another $600 in there I have to cash flow. Not to mention the fact that I'm only paying principal. So if I'm only paying principal, can I afford to pay her $25,000 more for that property? Absolutely. The reason being is because if I had to go out to a bank and get bank financing, I'd be paying another $100,000 for that property over the life of that loan. So by setting it up with seller finance and paying that seller $25,000 more, I just saved $75,000 on that property by paying $25,000 more for it and cash flowing about $600 a month. So I want you to think about this. Yes, come over to the crazy dark side with me. You can pay more for a seller finance property as long as it cash flows than getting an all low ball offer and missing out on all of that cash flow. You can pay more for that property again as long as it cash flows and save money in the long run than going out, paying even a lower offer on that property and going and having to get bank financing. So make the seller your bank. Make that landlord become your bank. They've already been trained. They're collecting a check every month. Let it be your check. I'm Maria Giordano. Go out and do some creative deals.